Easy, Tim.
Evening. Welcome to the Racing Network. Mike Peterson, Roger Wagner here with you for our 5,000 follower extravaganza event. Roger, are you there?
I am, sir, and I am very excited to be here with all of our fantastic guests. We appreciate every single one of you guys being on here with us tonight. We know it took time out of your personal schedules to help us out a little bit, so we appreciate that greatly. We are ready to have our round table. Got a little race going on in the backwards. The Tim's Dirt Track Sims people put up a race here. They're going to give away 5,000 pennies and a giant check to the winner tonight. We're going to give away, a couple of different things tonight during the broadcast. A couple of T-shirts and some different stuff. I've got some swag here.
Well, we're going to bring in our guest. We have currently in the channel Craig Kinzer, David Gravel, Tim Nichols, and Matt Henry.
Guys, welcome in. Is Brad Sweet here too?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, we're scheduled to have. We got plenty of racing talent in the room. Some of these guys have spent some time on the simulator. Some of them not as much, but we're going to get their opinion on the state of dirt racing, iRacing. Just going to kind of have a round table here. We're going to ask a few questions. We're going to take some questions from you guys, the fans, and pass them along. Let these guys answer them. So, guys, I appreciate everybody being here. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Thanks for having me. Definitely not too busy. We didn't got a night off last night, so just fixing around on the car a little bit, cleaning some stuff up, and red dirt off from the Grove, and getting ready for phone call tonight.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of that, real quick, I wanted to say something. This is gonna sound funny, but I'm kind of halfway serious about this. Are you gonna make Matt come to every race from now on? Because I know he was at Devil's Bowl, your quick qualifier, ran well in your heat race, won that, started really well in the pole dash and won that, started and ran in the top 4 all night in the feature, and he was at the track this past weekend. You've qualified, quick qualifier. Ran great in your heat race, started towards the front again, and had a pretty good night. So is Matt the good luck charm, or is it just blind luck that he happened to be there?
I don't know. It must be a little good luck for me, so I won't complain that he's coming to Charlotte this weekend, that's for sure.
Matt's not going to chime in
now
on
I have
that.
to show up tomorrow.
Are you going to Charlotte with him, Matt?
Yeah, I'll be in Charlotte.
Okay, so we should look for Craig to be quick qualifier, win his heat race, start up front in the pole dash. I
didn't win my heat race at the Grove the other night. 69K passed me and set sail in the heat at the end of the heat, but I had a good run and fortunate enough to get in the dash.
Well, it was a lot of fun hanging out with you. Let's move on a little here. Let's get Mr. Gravel in here. David, thank you very much for being with us. Tell us, you race against Craig every week. Tell us what it's like out there on the road with the World of Outlaws.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Well, this year, and I guess last year started this way a little bit, but this year it seems our jobs are driving to the racetrack for them to rain out and then turn back and go back to whatever hotel you're at here lately. But luckily we got some races in PA, and just been a lot of traveling this year. It's the same every year, but when you get the race and do that, it seems like time goes by faster when we're all prepared to go racing and it rains out. It's a real bummer for the guys because they don't really have too much to do during the weeks and just makes time go by a little bit slower. But when we're racing like we are this past week and the next week's coming up, time will fly by.
Well, what do you know about the sim racing stuff that we do here on the Dirt Racing Network and that Matt and Craig and everybody's involved in?
Well, I don't know if I know as much as Craig because he has his own race team, but I'm very familiar with it. I've played it at multiple people's houses. I don't have it for myself. Just with all my traveling, I've been too cheap to buy a nice computer, steering wheel and pedals and all that. So I've been holding off there, but I love playing. I think the virtual reality that I did at Chili Bowl on Tim's simulators is extremely close, and it does give you a real feel of being in a race car, and it's the closest thing too. I don't think you're ever going to find something that's going to be exactly like the real thing, because I think it's just impossible. But I think iRacing has knocked it out of the park, and that virtual reality is a new game changer, and it's pretty awesome.
Cool. Well, I think if some of the fans that are watching in the chat, and I know we've got quite a few already, want to throw out a question as we see them come in, we'll go ahead, we'll pause, and we'll ask. But Craig, same question that I just asked David. Talk to us about your experience with sim racing on the iRacing platform, and tell us about your team that you got going here on iRacing.
Well, before the team came about, and meeting with Matthew, I've been on it a little bit. Just I had a steering wheel when I ran some simulation of the NASCAR deal years prior, and so I played around with it. It wasn't much success. Never had a VR unit, which down in Texas, talking to one of the drivers, Josh, on the team, he was just talking to how nice all that stuff is. So I'm looking forward to maybe sometime being able to get on a rig like that, and seeing pictures of guys' rigs. I mean, just neat what they got. Some of the setups that these guys got. It's something else. I mean, from real steering wheels to real seats in these things. Just beautiful looking machines. That's for sure. But yeah, definitely, I haven't ran on it near as much as I would like to at this point.
When you guys watch, if you do watch any of the broadcasts or any of the races that we put on here, how similar, if you can tell, do the real tracks compare to what we see here on the sim?
I mean, the first race I watched this year, out in California, I was out there, watched the whole broadcast, and it was really nice. I mean, like, it was fun to watch. I watched Outlaw Pro race was the first one I saw this year, and it was, like I said, it was nice, professionally done. Everything looked so realistic. It was I was blown away with how real it all looked.
Yeah, I agree. They did iRacing has totally stepped it up with the backdrops of all the racetracks and billboards and stands and fences. They've taken it to the next level and have done a great job with that. The actual racing, guys run the top and bottom and people get runs. I feel like that's all very, very realistic in that way. And they've done a great job. I've watched a lot of races here and there, mostly the highlights of a lot of the races. And it's definitely crazy how far it's come, in the last couple years. 3 years ago, there was none of this, and now it has blown up at a rapid pace.
We have, was it 9 or 10 tracks, some virtual, some real life tracks. What tracks have you guys raced on that you think that we should get here on the sim that aren't in production yet, or possibly in production, just haven't come out yet?
Go ahead, Craig.
I don't know the full list of tracks on there.
We have Volusia, Williams Grove, Eldora, Limaland, Kokomo, Knoxville.
Yeah.
What would be a track that you guys go to in real life that you think would be would look good and would be very competitive here and a lot of fun for the guys to get out and race on?
I always enjoy going to Peevely I-55. It's got a wall around the inside and outside. It's a tough little track. It gets really slick there. So, sometimes you can tiptoe around the bottoms. Other times you can just rail the top. And it's tricky up there, so you got to be careful with it because you're right by the wall. And it doesn't have quite the wind speed that you have at Eldora, where somewhere it's open, not more sweeping turns. This is a tight track where you're on and off the gas quite a bit, so you can get a lot more momentum built up that the track can hold. And it's a tricky track, and it's short enough where guys can blow in on you and pull a big slide job off here and there.
I think Peevely's a good track. I think Lernerville's a fun track. It races well. It's pretty wide. There's a lot of good tracks out there that could be chosen. I know that that Lucas Oil track, I've never been there, but that looks like it's pretty cool. But I think they covered a lot of the good ones. Like, I actually love Limaland, but we don't race there anymore, so I don't know how they end up choosing that racetrack, but I'm glad they did because, that's a fun one. But again, the Chili Bowl track, I think they've covered a pretty good basis, but, they could always have more.
Yeah, Lyman's definitely a fun track. I always enjoy going there in real life, and I enjoy going to most of the tracks that are on the game. I know that in simulation, but it's always, I don't think you can go wrong adding any of them. To be honest with you, they all have their own little quirks that make them unique, and being out in the Outlaws, that's what you got to deal with day in and day out, is just dealing with the different shape tracks, different, the different grooves you can run at different places.
Here's a debate that's been going on. Let me jump in here real quick. That's been going on for a while you guys are talking about these tracks. That in the sim community has been going on for a while. A track that does not have an outside wall and just has the fall off over the outside edge. Name one of those that you think would be a whole lot of fun to see in here.
Chillicothe.
Yeah, that's a track that I've forgotten about. The All-Stars, I raced there a lot at KC Raceway at the time. I've always loved that track, but I haven't been there in, it's like 7-8 years now. But I like Hanford's a fun place. I know it's got a wall on the front stretch, but Hanford's pretty fun. That's one of my more favorite tracks with no walls. But it's tough to find a track with no walls all the way around. I feel like a lot of them maybe have a front stretch wall. Maybe Placerville would be something cool for the game. But I think between the, Chillicothe, Hanford, and Lernerville. Yeah, Lernerville. I would say those are all awesome tracks.
I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased and say Bloomington, because it don't have a wall all the way around it, and we haven't been there in years, but it is always a fun track, slick track, big cushion. The cushion kind of holds you in because it can be the wall some nights, but it's always fun. Always fun going there and running, but it is my hometown track, so I'm a little biased on that one.
I was getting ready to say Homer, but since you're such a nice guy, I won't do that.
Parameta doesn't have a wall around it, and you can actually run off the front stretch banking and come back on and not lose any ground there too, which is odd. The fall off's not as bad there. I haven't been there in a few years. I know they changed it around just a tiny bit, but that was always a one with no walls that was always fun to race.
All right, do you guys have the server up, the channel up here, the Dirt Racing Network on Facebook, watching some of these guys go around out here?
I do not.
Yeah, I don't currently. I don't know if I could exit out of this on my phone and put on speaker and watch.
You don't need to. It'll be all good. I was going to get Craig alone. I'm actually sitting here. I'm watching his car going around the track right now, and I was going to ask him what he thinks about seeing that. How surreal is that? So it's a little difficult if he's not actually looking at it.
Yeah, I'm in the same deal. I'm on my phone. I didn't think to do it on my phone and answer the phone call. So I definitely could have done it, but no, I don't get to. Watching the cars going around, in the iRacing is something else, and in real life, it's always fun to see cool shots like that.
You guys meet very many guys that from iRacing that know you and say, "Hey, I'm an iRacer," or at the track or anything like that. I know that you had Josh down working with you in the trailer down Devil's Bowl, which was super cool. But do you get a lot of people that come up to you like during a race night and let you know that they see that stuff, that they're part of the community?
Yeah, definitely. Before I even met with Matthew and got the Wicked Cushion, got the Sims team together. Which unbelievably happy he did, and introduced me more into the world and to meet some of the guys. But even before then, I had guys years prior coming up to races, and introducing themselves through the iRacing deal. And it's definitely neat to see them out there racing and come to races to watch, and just to be that close to community. Because if you love sprint car racing. You love sprint car racing, you can't get enough of it.
I've had, a couple people come up to me and said, "Oh, I do iRacing and all that," and I don't follow it close enough to know all the guys. I know the couple top sim racers, but usually if I go play iRacing and it's usually the same couple people that are always in a practice session or getting ready for a race. So it's people that I know. I know Chad Morgan, Brian Brown's crew chief. He plays a lot, and obviously Christopher Bell plays a lot, and I definitely know a good amount of people that do it. But I'm sure it's going to continue to grow, and when it gets even more serious with more sim teams, and I'm sure it's going to get very competitive here shortly.
The guy that's trying to help make all that happen, Matt Hanninger, is with us. Matt, you've listened to these guys talk. Do you have anything to add to what they've said so far?
No.
Matt must be in a bad spot. Is he breaking up for everybody else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we might wait for Matt to come back a minute. He can just chime in when he's back to where he's got a good, solid connection. The other guy that is doing a lot for the sim community, and I know, David, you know him. I don't know, Craig. Do you know Tim Nichols at all?
I do.
All right, well, then you guys are all acquainted. Fantastic. So Tim is doing a lot. Tim actually sponsors the Thursday night series that I run between himself and General Tires and the Howard Johnsons there in Lima. And Tim is doing a great deal to help move the sim community a little bit closer. We're trying to bridge that gap. Honest thoughts, and I got to ask this now because I don't want to get too deep into this, and I'm trying not to offend anybody real quickly here. But I know, David, you say you have not really done a whole lot of it, but could you see someone coming from sim racing and actually being successful getting into the real car?
I'm almost positive, but didn't a NASCAR driver, some kid that was just a sim racer and started racing something in NASCAR?
Sorry, Roger?
Yeah.
I got kicked off. That was Brad calling me on my cell phone, which I'm on for this call.
Gotcha. We need to probably try to add him back.
The phone never rang. So is there any way to kind of, if you could add him back, he'd like to join the call?
Yeah.
I'll get him right now.
Yeah. Mike can handle bringing him in. Anyway, I had that, and David, I'm trying to remember. We've had a couple that have gone. I don't know about successful, and the Christopher Bell thing and the Kyle Larson thing is kind of an anomaly because I think they actually raced a lot before the sim racing. I'm really kind of just talking about somebody to come from sim racing that's never been in a car that could go out there and maybe do any kind of good without getting themselves or someone else hurt.
I think anything's possible. I think it's good testing. I know in the NASCAR ranks, they have guys on their, realistic simulators that is hopping in like a real car pretty much, and they test and test and test to prep them for a new racetrack or just to get seat time. So in the sprint car world, I feel like it's maybe a little bit more extreme. It's a little bit more dangerous. It's a little bit more wild than I feel like NASCAR would be. So, the only way to find out is have one of the best sim racers hop in there and see what happens.
All right, Craig, your thoughts?
I mean, like David said, yeah, it's possible, and the hardest thing is it's not like you're going to jump into it right away. I mean, there's going to be a learning process. There's a learning process for everybody. There's a learning process for an F1 driver before he jumps into the sprint car. There's a learning process for everything, and that's what you're trying to do all the time is just quicken up that learning process. And jumping out of a sim deal where you got a lot of laps and you're used to a certain way, if you can get comfortable in the car and keep that car under control and point in the right direction, yeah, I don't see why not at all. Because I mean, it's just getting that little bit of learning curve from jumping out to jumping in, and then I can see guys doing it, but I don't think it's going to be, boom, you're right in the car. It's going to be a learning process, and I would think somebody like that has time and knows what's going on. Even you're doing the setup changes and stuff like that. Even in this simulation deal, you still know what's going on more than somebody's just jumping off the street trying to get in the car too. So I mean, there's a lot of aspects around it that's going to help you.
Okay,
Roger,
both answers.
Hey, Roger, when I race sprint cars, So I could tell you, Craig and David probably came up a little different, but when I raced sprint cars, the first time I was ever in a race was in a 410 sprint car at the Sharon Nationals. I'd never been in a car prior to that. And so from my perspective, I only wish to God there was a thing like iRacing, because I had no clue what I was doing. They tied a white flag onto the back of my car and said, go out there.
Yeah, just denoting that you were new, a rookie to the whole thing.
Yeah, a race.
Yeah.
For people getting into any form of racing, whether it's karting or micro sprints or sprint cars, to have when to turn in and get some base knowledge of some of how to drive the car only can benefit somebody coming into any form of racing, I would think. Would you agree, David and Craig?
Yeah, definitely learning
so how to drive a little bit and how to control your throttle and when to use the brake.
Being smooth with the wheel. I mean, that's what you're trying to learn all the time, to be smoother with the throttle, knowing when to feed more and when to get out of it more. And it definitely, the more times you can do it, the more in the competitive feel that the iRacing league's got going on. I mean, that's what you want. You're going to be competitive when you get out here, and you want to go faster, you want to get smoother, you want to be quicker than all your buddies, and that competitive drive will definitely help you too.
Yeah, I agree. Racing against good guys, knowing how to race the right way is important, but I feel like with iRacing, the hardest thing for new people is to make consistent laps, and the more you do it, the more consistent you get. But if you could put a stretch of 10, 15, 20 laps, consistent, shows signs that you can improve and get better. I know, like, when I've done races, I'm there, and for qualifying, I'm getting nervous and I'm sweating and all that stuff, kind of similar what you get driving a normal car. So the differences between real life and the game is, how are you under pressure? Do you get overwhelmed? Could you stay cool in the car and just focus on the task at hand? And, like I said, only one way to find out is to give it a try.
Yeah, I think probably the one thing that I see there's two things really, but the biggest one that I see that lacks between the sim world and the real world is the fear factor, because when you're in the real car, you can get hurt, whereas in sim racing, there's really not much that can happen to you at all. The other thing is the cost of repairing vehicles if you wreck them, and I really feel like that's probably the only difference in any time that I've spent on the track racing versus doing this, for the last couple of years here, and I think that I'm not positive someone could come out and be successful immediately, but I think given the right amount of time and the right equipment and maybe the right guidance, I feel like someone could come from sim racing and immediately go to a car and maybe not be like competitive at the front of a feature race in, even an ASCS or something like that, but it wouldn't take them very long to get a feel for it. I wanted to move to a different question here real quick.
Did you get Brad on?
We're working on it. It says that he is unreachable for whatever reason, and I'm not sure why, but
maybe if you can have him go into the chat, and add, join the call. That's the only way I think it'll work, because we're already in here.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I think he has to join us.
Okay.
But if you'll message him and let him know.
Yeah.
Man, I even now forgot that question. Wanted to let everybody know these guys are into the second heat race here on this broadcast.
There was a couple fan questions.
Let's do them. Do them, Mike.
Josh Close has one to ask both of you guys. Do you watch a lot of film on yourselves say via GoPro or anything like that to improve anything that you see on the camera?
You want me to go, Craig?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here the past couple weeks we've had a sponsor's kid with the Sage family. He's been putting a GoPro on the car, and actually after qualifying our heat race, we'll watch the GoPro, and it shows my hands, the steering wheel, and the left front wheel. But we've used that a little bit. I feel like if I run a weekend, I maybe struggle, and I'm really questioning, man, did I miss that line in qualifying or whatever? I'll look up the Dirt Vision archives and kind of see what's going on. But for like future races, if we're going somewhere, I'll just probably watch the highlight video from a year ago or a couple years ago, or watch a bunch of them from one track and just compare that. But I don't get too deep into it. But if ever I'm questioning myself, if like, man, I really messed up, or what the heck happened there, I'll definitely go back and check it out.
Going on to that real quick, when you go back and watch a race that you when you're going to a track or someone even that you've never been to, does it translate from like a year's past to then after the race you're like, oh, I did see that?
Well, dirt racing's so unpredictable. The racetrack could be completely different from when the last time you were there, or it could rain or whatever. So I think you look for characteristics of the racetrack, but a lot of the times, you're sensing that as a driver. I feel like that's what separates, great drivers from others, is trying to find something that other people don't see, or trying a line somebody doesn't run. I feel like that's very important, and you have to pay attention. If you're a guy that doesn't watch the racetrack much, you're probably going to be missing out on some things. So it's definitely important for sure.
Yeah,
Craig,
definitely. But even through the nights, on any given night, I mean, the track's constantly changing. It's its own, it's its own beast in itself. Just the racing lines. So something you got away with qualifying, you might not get away with heat race, especially when you put cars out there. Or from the heat race, might not be the same. Some tracks change quick, some tracks change slow. So, but going back to the question, watching videos, I've watched videos quite often. Tracks I struggled at and tracks I ran good at. Just to see what was good. Just to see how everything's going. Tracks we don't run at, if there is video of it, I usually try and find a video just to give me an idea. Okay, this looks similar to this track, or this looks.
Hey, Brad made it.
It's just the similarities at that point you're trying to associate with another track, to a track you've never been to try and help you out to give you a reference point.
Well, real quick, let me break in right there. Mike, I'll let you ask this question to the new guest, but I want to introduce our new guest. Finally got him in. Thank you for joining us. Brad Sweet, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to make this stuff work.
Technology. Well, we just asked those two guys this question. We did have a question here. Do you watch any film or any videos like on the top of your car from a GoPro camera just to improve your racing, or like even David was saying, goes and watches video from a track that you guys are going to go to just to get a little bit more familiar with the track?
Yeah, I mean, if someone is, if I have a camera, I don't necessarily go ahead and go out of my way to put a camera on my car, but I have watched quite a bit of footage of cameras that have been on my car, but definitely go and watch lots of film of the racetrack, like where we're going, or old film, or last year's races. I always feel like there's a lot to be learned about just watching different people's driving styles, track conditions, and things like that.
Got another question here. It says, what state's food are the most exciting to eat while on the road?
Which state's food? I don't know. We do see a lot of great food throughout the country. I don't know. I think it's more just different areas, but I like when we're in Indy. There's always some good steakhouses there. California, just because it's home. It's home. I know where the good restaurants are, but I actually had some decent restaurants out here in Pennsylvania too.
It's hard for us, typically we're eating at truck stops no matter what state we're in most of the time. We're eating Wendy's, Subway, McDonald's, going stopping truck stop to truck stop. So when we do have a time where, like in California, per se, early in the year where we race just the weekends and we're stuck away from our shop or home base, that's when you go and try out new places or new food. But like these next 3 weeks, we'll be eating truck stop food for the next 3 weeks just with all the traveling we're doing, and not many days in between. So California's got some good food. I agree with Brad. Indy, but Indy's usually a place you get to be a couple days and you've been there a lot and you know all the ins and outs and you know all the good places. Wisconsin, I've had some good stuff up there. Other than that, it's tough to say. Devil's Bowl, there's always a good couple restaurants down the road by the mall there that we like to eat at. So
Papados.
Other than that, man, it's truck stops.
Well, I've actually gotten away from the truck stop stuff.
We can
my
tell.
diet program,
Profile.
But learning to eat a little bit better. But as far as region goes, I guess it depends on what you like. Because if you like Mexican restaurant, California's got all kinds of good ones. But when you get pizza,
And Larry spoiled you.
Yeah, it did. But I was on salads most of the time when I was out there, and total different change this year than years prior as far as dieting and on the road stuff.
No McDonald's for you, Craig?
I think I've cheated since Vegas. Probably went to McDonald's once and had a salad too, which was probably one of the first times I've ever gone there. But you had a profile sponsor for you guys that don't know, and they came on board and lost a little weight and totally changed my way to eat. And I actually eat on race days now. I never used to. So now if you go back to track food though, I think Eldora with the pizza burger, that's probably one of my favorites.
I like the chicken wings there. Those are my favorite.
Man, I'm learning all kinds of good stuff when I get around to some of these tracks. I know where to go eat and what to order. I've got a specific question here really quick. This was submitted to me and I have to ask this question. It's to Brad. Brad, do you use Wicked Energy Gum and do you like it?
I love it. I chew probably, I'll keep it down to the low side, but at least a couple pieces a day. Once you kind of implement it into your, we're always on the go, so it's just easy to pop a piece of gum and get that energy. I was always into the energy drinks, but ever since I got on that Matthews energy gum, it's been good. So definitely.
Good answer.
Sometimes 3 or 4 pieces even. So I know it says don't have more than 2 or 3, but I can't help myself.
All right, there we go, Matt. There's your infomercial right there. We can just clip this out of here. There it is, right there. We're done.
It does work, man. I love it. It gives me a little kick up.
All right, guys. Go ahead, Mike.
I saw gravel eating that stuff once too.
Yeah, I tried it in Volusia, but Brad's been cheap for me and hasn't given me another pack since. So I don't know if he's selling out the back door or what he's doing. But
stuff's hard to come by, Matthew.
I think he's breaking it down per piece now. He's selling it per piece to people. So I've had it in Volusia. It's good. I like it for it's got the taste dies off at the end, but in the beginning for the first 10 minutes, it's awesome. I like it.
Got another fan question here. It's a pretty general question, but what's your favorite place to race?
I wanted to ask that.
Who you asking?
All three.
Oh, I'll go first because I've been here the least amount of time.
Good job.
I think my favorite place to race is Knoxville. And I think a little bit of that is because that's the biggest race of the year. So every time I go there, I'm just thinking about the Nationals, and it just gets me excited. And I love the small town and what it turns into at the Nationals. So there's just something about that place every time we go there that feels, extra special.
I'm the only one that hasn't won that damn race in this video right now. But
we're going to say that out loud.
But I feel like so many people ask us that question, and I feel like everybody gives very similar answers, and I feel like people pick Knoxville or Eldora, but my answer is Knoxville, just because 9 times out of 10 they're going to give us a good racetrack to race at. It hosts our biggest race of the year, and it's the one we all want to win. You know, if everybody wants to win the Super Bowl, and that's our event for sprint car racing.
Change camera, Mike.
Yeah, it's definitely with the prestige all those tracks bring in Williams Grove. Those tracks are up there. I'd say probably one of those, the track that's off that list, probably Peevely. I really enjoy going to. For whatever reason, I always enjoy going there. But really, it's whatever track I'm running the best at that night. If I'm running good there, it's my favorite track.
So 3 or 4 weeks ago when I saw you, Devil's Bowl was your favorite track.
Yeah, I run good at Devil's Bowl. I've been pretty good there over the years, and I always enjoy going back to where the Outlaws started. I haven't got to race there as much as having the hiatus from there is the long period of time we did, but it's nice being able to go back there.
I've been going down there for years, and this year was the first time I actually stopped and completely read every word on that plaque that's at the entrance down there about the first ever World of Outlaws race and all that. I read every single word of it, and I'd never done that before, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to get back to a place that it's fortunate to give me, David, and Brad all a series to race in, and to be able to run sprint cars. Try and make a living doing it.
So, kind of not a technical question, but maybe a little bit. When you get ready to, or when you're preparing to get ready to go out for the feature race, any of you actually go out and track walk? I know that used to be a big thing, and I hardly ever see it anymore.
If they give us time, I always try to ride. I wouldn't call it a track walk. I'd more call it a track ride for me, but at least take a ride around the quad if I can, to kind of look at things. Usually you're watching pretty intently at that time, so you kind of know, like if the B main comes off the track, and I know there's going to be a few minutes, I'll typically try to at least make a lap around. I think you definitely get better visualization of what's going on if you can actually ride out on the track, for sure.
What are you looking for?
If a guy was coming off low off turn 2 or something and I can't see it, just how much moisture is on the bottom, how slick. There's something about being on the track that really tells you, in my mind, of what's going on with the racetrack. Sometimes watching a car go around there, kind of gives you hints, but you don't know what their setups are, or you don't know what they're fighting. So I'd go out and actually see what's kind of out there, where the moisture is, if there's any moisture left, if it's getting ready to take rubber, or if there's a big cushion. Just kind of gives you things to look at to go back and work on your car, and then also just to kind of prepare mentally for what you saw, getting ready to run the main event.
David?
It seems like PA, you're not allowed on the racetracks there. I feel like everywhere else in the country, we are all on the racetrack typically. And a lot of times, some tracks do track work throughout the night. And for us, when we don't race there much, it's important for us to see, how much track work they actually did, or see if somebody's running a unique line and see why it's working. But PA, like this weekend, we weren't able to really go on the track much at all. Just kind of peek at it from where you were parked, and that was really about it. But when the track doesn't get any work done to it all night, hopefully you're in the dash, or hopefully you're in the B main sometimes to even be on the track the latest you could be. And it's definitely important, but sometimes they till the track and you think it's going to do a lot, and it doesn't do much at all. So it's one of those things that could trick you sometimes, and you got to try not to overreact.
Yeah, I'm about with them. I think you'd be surprised how often guys get on the track and do ride. You might not see it as much. Like I know when I first started, me and my grandpa or me and my uncle would actually walk the track, and a lot of us would be out there, but we'd have a lot more time between races. Now you see a lot like when I go out there, I'll see a lot of drivers just going through as quick as they can, getting a good deal, and their crews are back there working on their cars, and if they get enough time, ride back and hand Mikey, my crew chief, the four-wheeler, and he'll go ride around and look. But yeah, it's pretty close to what Brad and David were saying. You're looking for moisture. You're looking for little tales about just little hints here whether the track's going to last in a certain spot, and then you're trying to visualize how to get down to that spot, what you got to do, maybe getting in to get off to that spot off, or where you got to get in to hit that moisture getting in. You got to, you look how big the cushion is, lets you know if the cushion's gonna hold you and not bind your car up when you hit it, or if you can get on it pretty good and not upset your car. So you're looking for a lot of different things depending on where you're at. Like if you're starting in the back, you're looking for any place that's maybe out of the groove that you're going to be able to get to where some guys aren't, to get around them.
Yeah, you don't see it quite as much anymore, and I guess if you don't go to the shows, you don't really see it. So trying to find out if guys actually still have that kind of knowledge to go out there and look at those things, or if now you just you get so used to going to these places over and over and over again, you kind of have an idea of probably what's going to happen to a track, and so you can just kind of prepare yourselves for it and stay back in the pits and not have to get out there and mess with all that. That's why I asked that question. I want to ask a different question here about let's talk about like Knoxville Nationals, because that is a big, long event. You're there for about 4 days racing. How do you prepare to go there, and what does it take to be there every single day and get to the end of that thing and actually be in the big show at the end?
I think.
And I know you just won it, so you go first.
Well, I think all of us it's on our minds. It's in the back of our minds right this second. But for me, I start paying attention to Knoxville from the word go. I start watching their weekly shows. We only get a couple races to go there, so as David alluded, it's our Super Bowl. So it's definitely on all of our minds. We get those couple nights in June. And as it gets closer, we'll definitely be paying attention to what's going on with the track this year. I like to go back and watch previous years of Knoxville Nationals, because another thing David said that's definitely true is they're very consistent in their track preparation. I've been going there for years, and it's always within a little bit of a half second here, a half second there, but very consistent unless they have bad weather or something. So we pay a lot of attention and try to always think about what our car would be doing there. So it's definitely on our minds, and when we get there, it's a long week, but it's something that we prepared ourselves all year for sure.
I think all teams, over prepare or doubled, quadrupled check their cars and everything for the event. It's our most important week of the year, and that week you're nervous as a driver. You're nervous about your pill draw. You're nervous about qualifying, and then maybe after the heat races you calm down a little bit. But it's one of those things. It's a stressful week, but it's something that we all want so bad, and I feel like that place just elevates you to another level in every aspect of it, and it is for good reason. It's the biggest and best sprint car race in the world.
Yeah, about like them, Knoxville's always on your mind, even in the wintertime when you're disassembling the car and getting your stuff ready for next year. You kind of look at your couple frames you got there, and you're already thinking, well, which one is going to be my Knoxville car? And then you run it a couple times on the bigger tracks, and you're like, oh, this one reacts the way we want it to on a big track, and you start putting that aside maybe, or you keep running it, maybe taking the chance that you're going to learn more about the car, and maybe taking that chance that you could hurt that car too. So some guys take it a different way, and they run their one car all the time. Some guys will, this one's going to be my big track. This one's acts the best on the big tracks the way I need to for Knoxville. I'm going to put this aside and start bringing it back out around August time. So you're always thinking about that. So like every time you get to race on that track, I mean you're racing that night and you're racing hard that night against everybody, but you're also racing that night for August for nationals. So it's always in your mind, the nationals is, and because it's in your mind all the time, yeah, nerves are really big. It is our biggest race, fan-wise, purse-wise, prestige-wise. It's the big one, and you can almost psych yourself out sometimes overthinking about it, but it's something you got to be mentally tough for. You got to have a good car for, and you just got to have plain luck, because you can do everything right there and still barely make the race. You can do everything right there and miss the show, easily there. It's just that tough, that many good drivers, that many good cars, are focused that hard in that race.
All right, real quickly before we go on to the next question, I believe Mr. Henninger is going to have to depart with us, guys. So I wanted to tell Matt a million thank yous for helping us get the guests here, and I will talk to you again very soon, sir. Thank you for everything that you have done for sim racing and the dirt racing community as a whole.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks, Matthew. Sorry we were a little late.
Thank you.
My pleasure, and thank you, Craig, and Brad, and David for joining the chat, and I know everybody really appreciates it. And I'll see you guys on the weekend.
Thank you, man. Sprint car racing. We got to keep building every part of it to get where we want to be at the end of the day.
That's right. Good night, guys.
Thanks, Matt. All right, Mike, you got some more questions? I know. And we can keep moving.
We have one here. Do you guys prefer the pits inside the infield or outside?
It just depends on the track. I've never been real big on getting too concerned about my pit area or my pit spot.
Yeah, I don't care too much. Like the Grove is tough to see some stuff. Actually, Lincoln's actually another tough place to kind of see your race car, or other race cars. But I don't get too worried about it. It's just if you get too worried about where you park, then you're probably not focused on the right things.
Yeah, it's about the same. It doesn't matter to me now. If the best spot normally to watch is on top of a trailer from the infield, you can normally see stuff a lot better from there. At the same time, it's not the best probably for the fans to have the trucks and trailers in the infield. So as far as that goes, if we're parked outside, it's perfectly fine with me, because as David and Brad knows, we'll find a place. We'll find a way to watch the race no matter what.
Another question was for all of you. Any of you guys going to run the Classic in Australia next year? We do have a big iRacing or contingent of Australian drivers and people that even watch our broadcast from Australia. So, any of you gonna go to the Classic next year?
I'm planning on going to Sydney, but probably not the Classic. I do love racing in Australia. I love the fans. Had lots of great experiences there. It's been tough with the Classic kind of falling on Chili Bowl weekend for me.
Same with me. There's talks that we might put something together for Australia this year. I've been there a couple times at the Classic, but just don't know if it's going to happen. I'm kind of getting excited and pumped up about midget racing in the off season. That I've done pretty good last year, so I might do some more midget racing after our season's over. So we'll see what happens, but you never know. I'll be there at some point again.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Australia and race. No plans of it as of now, but it's tough. I'm just trying to get to the end of the year trying to get to Knoxville, and then after Knoxville, trying to get to the end of the year, and then, probably after Knoxville, I'll start looking more into going to Classic. I have been there before. I got fortunate enough to drive for Trevor Green down there, and he brought me to my first one, and I'd like to go back and maybe redeem myself a little bit from my last visit down there.
Got another one. I'm gonna tie it in to fit all three of you in here, but Josh wanted to ask Craig, how does it feel to live up to the pressure of your dad behind the wheel? Then I was gonna tie it with David. How is it the pressure of driving the 41 this year, and then Brad, just the pressure of driving for Casey Kane?
Hi, Josh. I'm just on Josh Close again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Well, first of all, hi, Josh. Didn't get a chance to say hi to last time. You guys, Brad and David, he actually drives on my sim team too. So he's the second question he asked. But you know, I grew up with my dad where he's, you know, being my dad the whole time with that pressure, and you know, I've dealt with it the same my whole life. I look at the good aspects of a shadow and the pressure of a legend like that, and you know, like I said, I look for the good parts. He gave me a good chance to quicken my learning curve up in these cars. Gave me good equipment to start out with, and you know, it's all I can ask for. So I you know, I try and take all the positives out and just not let the pressure get to me. I've dealt with it my whole racing career, so I'd like to think at this point I'm pretty decent about not letting it get the best of me.
For me, you know, there's pressure no matter what car you drive. You know, you got to perform to stay in the race car in our sport. But for Jason Johnson Racing, you know, he built a thing from the ground up and carried himself a certain way and was a very dedicated guy. And, you know, the whole team is still around, so I would want to perform or, you know, make sure I fill the needs that he would. So it's one of those things. I don't have any added pressure because it's a pretty laid-back environment. But at the end of the day, I want to perform well and do good for everybody that makes it happen.
Yeah, for me, just always, I've been driving for Casey for so long, but he doesn't really put, you know, extra pressure. I think he's more of a support system. You know, just he's been through the ups and downs of racing, so he knows that there is ups and downs, and I just feel like, you know, I'm the type of guy that puts probably more pressure on myself than any owner probably ever will be, or, you know, ever would be. You know, I want to run good each and every night. So if I'm not running good, then, you know, I think I would definitely just go find a day job and, you know, just always want to run good. And I think that's where the pressure comes from. It's more me than anybody.
So I've got a question for all three of you. Gonna put you on the spot just a little bit here. We've got Tim Nichols in here with Tim Sims. Tim and I are putting on a big event in November up in Lima, Ohio. It's called the Hillbilly High Banks. Going to bring everybody to the Howard Johnsons up there. They're giving us all the conference rooms to set up all the simulators. We are going to put as many guys as we can together, kind of run a Knoxville type environment where you score your points over each day of racing, and then we break it down to a main feature race at the end of the deal. But on the Friday night, before we really get going, we want to have a pros versus Josie race, and I want to invite all of you guys to come if you're available.
When is it?
All right, Timmy, when is it? It's the November.
November.
So we're at World Finals.
It's after the World Finals. It'll be after that.
Yeah, it's after that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't guarantee anything on my end, but I'd have to look at the dates. And I love what sim racing's all about. So if I can definitely support it, I would. Being from California, it might be difficult, but we can always work something out. So I'm not going to say no, but I'm definitely not going to commit yet.
It's the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, right, Tim?
I'm hoping that's when it is, yes.
Yeah, right now that's tentatively when we have that scheduled, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of November. And it would be great to have you guys come in, do the pros versus Joe's race on that Friday for sure.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I'm probably pretty good. Could probably go to swing that. Know exactly where it's at. Been there many times, and you know, off season's off season for me. I got plenty of free time, especially on the weekends. So I should probably be able to make that. But I'm from
Well-
Indiana, so I'm next door neighbor.
Well, I'll definitely stay in touch with you on
Thanks,
that.
Craig. Thanks, Craig.
Sorry.
You want to put the pressure on him, Craig?
Well, I can tell you who's going to win the race. It probably ain't going to. It's going to be one of the sim drivers. I can tell you that because. I still
we're
got
gonna
a lot of work to
handicap
do
him.
before.
It definitely isn't going to be me.
We're going to handicap them. We're going to handicap all the sim racing guys.
Yeah,
Better be
they
big
need it.
handicap.
No, we're just going to make it a fun event and want to bring, several people in, as many as we can get that want to come in, and you guys all come from the real world of racing. Pros versus the Joes. It'll be a fun deal. We kind of did something similar down at the Chili Bowl this past January, and we had one guy that made it all the way through and got to race against Bell and Larson and all those guys, and it was a pretty fun deal, and everybody had a great time. So we want to kind of try to do something like that, and we've got you guys in here. Figured I
Yeah.
might as well ask why I got you on the hook.
Well, sign me up for Chili Bowl. I'll do it there for sure. If everything goes well, I'll be racing Turkey Night possibly out in California. So I can't say yes or no, but good chance I'll be racing a midget possibly.
Well, sign him up for the Chili Bowl, Tim. Write it down.
We're going to try to put a race on. I want to do something in Knoxville if I get enough cars together. I want to see
Yeah, I'll do
practice
Knoxville.
support 'em and get some
Knoxville's a lot easier. We're definitely there.
money. No.
Tim makes that happen. I'll get the rig up there. We'll broadcast the whole thing, and we'll put some of the pros versus anybody that shows up to sim race that can qualify and get through. We can do that too. Tim will set it all up. I'll just show up and broadcast the whole thing.
Maybe we can give away some energy gum for Wicked Energy Gum for the winter. They all need some.
Oh, I bet we got an inside track on that. We know Matt, and we definitely know Brad, unless Brad's gonna hoard it all for himself.
No, Matthew's a supplier, man. He's hard to get it from. He's the
Boy,
one
that's no
hoarding it.
kidding. But no, anyway, guys, think about that. We'll stay in touch with you. We'll kind of
Yep.
keep updating. We'll send you messages, see where you're at. If you could make it, that'd be awesome. If not, it'd be fantastic. Anything you guys just want to talk about racing? Anybody watch the All-Star race this past weekend for NASCAR?
Yeah. Watch it rain.
Oh, the NASCAR race.
I thought you were joking about anyone watching All-Star race. I think they've been rained out 10 times in a row. So that was
Yeah.
No. I wanted to see what everybody's thoughts were about the
No, I think we're
driver-on-driver violence.
we were racing the Grove, I think. So we did. I never even realized it happened until after the fact.
Yeah,
I think that is the only aspect about the race that I heard about is when we were driving out of the Grove. I think we saw a clip of Newman and Boyer. That's about the most of I got to watch of it.
That's the one thing that's tough with NASCAR. If you don't watch the race, it's really hard to find out results. Like maybe on Twitter you could find who won the race, but rarely do you know who runs second or third. I feel like that they should be posting highlight videos of a short summary of the race or maybe the last 10 laps of the race. I saw a clip with Larson getting pushed through traffic and he went through the middle and passed some guys, but other than that, I have no idea what happened. I saw a video of Kyle doing a burnout on the front stretch, but I know Christmas will probably be pretty good for Brad this year.
Hopefully. I'm definitely asking for Christmas presents. Jeez. That's a cool meal.
Yeah. So you guys are all going to Charlotte this weekend. Tell us a little bit about what's coming up there.
But one thing,
tomorrow.
yeah, Bridgeport tomorrow. But one thing I saw about the Kyle deal is he got interviewed after the race and he had no idea, or maybe he knew a little bit, but it wasn't a points race and he's not locked into the playoffs, and it seemed like he didn't really know that after the race. So it was pretty funny. He was like bummed out after the race, but I'm sure the $1 million check makes up for that.
Yeah.
I would hope so. So you said Bridgeport tomorrow?
Bridgeport tomorrow, and then I think there's always a brigade of trucks and trailers heading straight for Charlotte tomorrow night. And then I think they made it a 2-day race down in Charlotte. So for us, KKR, we're looking forward to it. It's kind of a home race for us. We get to be at our shop and stuff. So it'll be good. Kind of go race 2 nights down there, paying a little extra money. So kind of the unofficial start to the summer. So kind of looking forward to hopefully get the season kind of really rolling here and get some good good paying shows in and lots of racing and get done with these rainouts.
Well, I know that you guys are doing a deal at the shop. I saw on Twitter today. Guys, people can come in and see the cars, see the shop, and all that. That's on Thursday, is it not?
It's on Friday.
Friday, okay.
Friday before the races, just kind of, people are around the Charlotte area. Me and Casey will be there, and I think they're gonna have some taco trucks and ice cream trucks and kind of some stuff from. I believe it's like 11 to 1 type of situation. So. Yeah, we'll be there. Everyone's just more than welcome. I think they're gonna have the gates open. It's gonna be kind of an open house type of thing.
And I believe, Craig, you are scheduled to be at one of the profile locations this before the Charlotte race?
Yeah, Thursday. So I'm staying in Cortland, New York right now. Go to New Jersey race, and then we're heading, like Brad said, straight to Charlotte. Maybe get the truck cleaned up and make sure the car is washed pretty good, and heading to profile and down in Charlotte, and have a chance to talk and meet and greet with some fans down there, and then prepare for the race Friday and Saturday. Should be a hot one too. So,
David, you got some itinerary you can give us for the rest of the week?
Dave's not going. He's skipping out. He's done. He's gonna stay home in Connecticut.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out. Haven't been here in a while, so just gonna hang out with the family, eat some pizza, and hang out. But no, I don't have anything too exciting. I got a couple things in the works that are gonna be exciting for the future here. So hopefully I have a good week, and we have some exciting news for the rest of the year. So we'll see how it goes, but nothing really for the public or anything like that. So I'll be at the races Friday, ready to go.
What do you guys think about going down and running at Nashville?
I think it's cool. I think it's a new market. I think it's it's a lot of fun things to do in Nashville. It's an area that really sprint car racing hasn't been to in a long time, but it's a racing type of crowd. So I look forward to kind of building I'm excited the Outlaws are trying to build an event. I think we all got to maybe give it a year or two to hopefully, kind of come to fruition. Anytime you put dirt on a pavement track, I don't have super high expectations. I'm excited about it, but, I know there's going to be some trials and tribulations to get through it all.
I'll let you go, Craig.
Yeah, it's definitely a great place, I think, for to have a racetrack at, and to have a good big weekend. Good big weekend is definitely nice. Somewhat close to Indiana, I guess, but like Brad said, location's good. You don't know what the track is, so it's kind of an even playing field on that aspect. We'll have profile on, so I'm looking forward to that weekend, just to have profile in the car for that weekend. And I got some friends that live in Nashville. Hopefully, come to the races. I get to listen to some good music.
I'm looking forward to it in the aspect that we have a lot of people going. It seems like a lot of sponsors, a lot of friends, a lot of family could easily make time for a trip to Nashville to go see the races. It seems like it's a struggle for some people to make time out of their schedule, but Nashville is such a user-friendly place, and it's a booming area right now. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of people there supporting their favorite drivers or teams. The track situation, it could be good, could be bad, but I feel like World Racing Group has a little bit more experience today than they did a couple years ago when they did Oswego the first time. It was real bad, but the last 2 years have been great. So hopefully their experience and hire the right people to make a good racetrack and see if we could build an event. My girlfriend's sister sings in Nashville for a living, and she's singing the national anthem on Friday, and then she's singing at one of her bars she works at on Saturday night. So I plan on bringing hopefully a couple hundred people to the bar she's at after the races and have a good time.
You singing the national anthem Saturday, Dave, since you can't be there?
Yeah, I'll fill in Saturday for sure. With one drink in me, but I got to race it later is the problem. So sober, I'm gonna have to do it after the races.
Australia, they say you can have one drink or one joint before the races. So you should be good.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Oh, Mike.
I think that is going to do it, actually. We're going to let you guys go. We appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us. And best of luck tomorrow night, this weekend, and for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on, or me on at least. Sorry I was late to the show here.
I'm going to
Thanks,
look
guys.
forward to seeing some of you guys hopefully a couple of times this summer, maybe even at this Knoxville deal that Tim's working on. That would be fantastic. But I have to say for myself and all the fans here at the Dirt Racing Network, it has been an absolute joy to have you guys on. Amazing to get to sit down and talk with you guys, get your insights, have a little fun with you guys. I know I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Hope the fans have too. And I think Tim had something that he wanted to say there.
No, I just listen to you guys. I love listening to the racers. You know that.
Yeah, well, you've been around long enough. You were there when they invented the wheel.
Well, I still got pictures of my uncle at Devil's Bowl the first time there with Jack Hodgkill, first race. They won that first race in '78 to pay $10,000 to win at Eldora.
And it still pays $10,000 to win today.
I know, he does something.
It ain't.
Yeah.
Counting it out, and Earl Baldwin counted out $4,000, and Reese Cup for Shane Carson a box, and Don Harold had an M&M's box. He had $6,000 in.
Wow.
We walked in Eldora.
Cash money then.
Yeah, they come here. You want security? My uncle, he's old hillbilly. Craig knows, and he just said, "No, what security for what?" They walked down there with that money, and off we went. And I'll never forget it. I was probably about 11 years old, and I've watched. I remember Steve Kinsler first time at Eldora. I've been around that long.
Wow.
Yeah, Steve's left Eldora with a shoebox full of 50 grand a couple times in his day. Hopefully Craig knows where that's buried at.
Yeah, Craig, hopefully you're gonna keep track where you buried all that money.
I'm sure you got a few bucks left.
But Tim, you're a good guy. He was the first guy I ever sold T-shirts at a simulator booth at Knoxville and all over the place. So thank you to you, and I have no problem doing this stuff.
I appreciate it. I got my biggest memory of you was coming over to my shop on your birthday and winning and going to Limeland and telling them about it. That's what you want, Speedway.
Yep, first race actually. Brad tried to slide me last corner to take my first All-Star win away from me, but he was nice.
I was definitely playing nice that night.
Yeah, gave me a little extra space.
That's how we got to know each other. All the guys come over when they're up at the hotel. They either go over there or they come over to my shop.
Yeah, I remember I played for several hours, and I think you got a bucket of KFC chicken or Popeye's chicken, and that's what we ate till like 3 in the morning.
At 1:30, I said, guys, I'm leaving. I got to get up tomorrow. You guys were still racing. Rob had left. I know you, Rob. You know, he's a businessman he's like, but he was your mechanic at the time. But
Yep.
all there when I left, and I said, have fun, man. And the next day, you won that race. It was a hell of a race, and you said you let my shop practice a little bit, and it's been a good memory with you, and that's how I become buddies with you. My daughter wanted to marry Craig, so.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully Michaela's not listening.
Just putting all the laundry out on the line tonight.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I've known Tim a long time. You know, he's been messing around with the rigs, and he's got some nice ones now, that's for sure.
He stepped it up. I don't think he's a hillbilly anymore, you know, maybe 10 years ago, but he's pretty high class now.
He's still always a hillbilly. Once you're a hillbilly, you're always a hillbilly.
So, anybody ever talking bad about me, I'm a hillbilly. That's my excuse. It's the nicest you ever find.
I want David. Did you go sell T-shirts for him, or did he sell your T-shirts?
He sold mine at, I believe, Knoxville, maybe Kings Royal. I had one shirt, all black. That was it. You know, hung it up on his door, and that was how he started. You know, and just built up from there. Then I rented a partial spot from Patty Hodenshield with a fold-up table at Knoxville, and then, you know, just kept getting bigger and bigger from there. So it's been pretty cool. And
Charlotte too last year. Your girlfriend did.
Yeah. My girlfriend started her own little T-shirt business, and Tim let her sell some stuff there. So that's motivated her to be at all the big events. So she'll be out selling somewhere at all these big races.
Cool.
Well, I'm about to help the drivers. They know that.
the first time I'd seen Tim's set up for the T-shirt stuff was this year. I went up to hang out with him at 81 Speedway last month. We got the first night in, it got rained out the second night, and just like he'd known her forever. Grabbed my wife, got her up inside the trailer, and got her to selling everything in the trailer. It was amazing. I was like, if he does that with everybody, Tim's probably got to be the greatest salesman ever because he gets other people to do it for him.
I act like a dumb hillbilly, and I'm not.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything, but he knows everything, you know?
He's there for everything, man. But guys, I truly do appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to stay in touch with you guys, keep you informed of when we're going to be where, and see if you guys maybe are interested in when we're going to be in the same place as you guys are, dropping by the Tim's booth and hanging out and maybe racing against some of the fans or something if we've got some time for it, and we'll see if we can't get it over here on the Dirt Racing Network. The fans love that kind of stuff. We get so many people to tune in for it, and it's just been an amazing evening. I can't thank you guys enough for doing this. We appreciate it greatly. Tim, thank you for all of your help. I got to say, Matt Henninger, thank you a million times over for all of your help. But you guys have good luck all week long, and we will look forward to seeing you somewhere live very, very soon. Guys, go check these guys out everywhere you have a chance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Check out my YouTube channel, David Gravel. Check out my videos I post, and we'll be seeing you guys at the racetrack. And thank you guys.
Fans
Thank you,
had
David.
fun with Rico the other day too, David. Fans love that.
Yes, sir. They love Rico more than me, but I'll try to get them to like me too.
It's the hair, man. You got to have the mullet.
He's fine the way he is. Take care, guys.
All right. We'll
Thanks,
see you guys
guys.
later.
You going, Roger?
Yep. Going back to TeamSpeak.
They're like Ernie's leading.
Yeah, we're going back to TeamSpeak. We'll probably call the rest of this race, and then we will be done for the evening. So I'm going to head over there, guys. I'll meet you on TeamSpeak.
Thank you, buddy. Bye.
Here, watching this feature race. Got Ernie Williams out in front right now.
Ernie Williams, we have Trevor Royer, Mason Hannigan, Larry Moody. Caution just comes out. Jacob Fields in this hosted session. Awesome for those guys to come on and hang out with us for roughly a little over an hour and 15 minutes.
That's the best podcast ever right there.
It was.
That was awesome. I can't thank Matt enough for getting Craig and Brad to come on with us. That was fantastic, and for hanging out himself for as long as he could. Tim, thank you a million times over for getting David in here. I know that was last second, and he was fantastic, and I can't wait to do something like this again in the future. Get everybody together in one spot, have a big sim race, and get the pros versus Joes thing going a little bit.
That would be pretty awesome. Like you said, if you can get him at Knoxville, that would be awesome to see them all at Knoxville and try to get that up on the Dirt Racing Network.
We got to find a sponsor for that, Jim.
Not sure if he clicked
I don't know if
over
he's
to
here or not.
TeamSpeak or not.
I'm hoping that he clicked himself back to TeamSpeak.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if he did.
I'll have plenty of time to talk to him about it. Let's see. I know a couple of cautions here.
I think he's there.
I know this is like caution 2. I think we're going to about lap
Caution 2?
36 right now. I think so.
Caution number 2, yes.
Can you hear me?
We got you now,
Tim.
buddy. Yeah, we got to get these. We got to get a sponsor, get that deal at Knoxville done. That would be a blast. Yeah, they'll do it. That's awesome. And it's, it's so cool to get those guys to come in and then, just spur of the moment. And I really feel bad for putting them on the spot like that, but I had to. This is the best opportunity to get that kind of done, and for them to be that gracious and step up like this. That's pretty awesome. I'd love to do something over there at Knoxville with them.
We'll work something out.
It's probably a lot easier when they're all together at one spot to get them all to come over, especially at Knoxville or something like that, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like Brad was saying, he goes back to California for off season, and Craig's close, and that's fine. And I'm not even sure where David's home base is at, but I mean, to get guys to travel around for that one thing, yeah, that's a little complicated. But if we could all meet at one of the big races and do it, that'd be awesome. There, even Eldora would be fun.
Yeah, we want to do a couple of different ones. Like I said, it's been a slow summer for me and everything with the weather. I want to put a couple of shows like that together and get maybe Super Clean and some of the other sponsors, General Tire, to get involved and have a good race.
Yeah, caution's out again here. I believe this is at least the third caution now. In fact, you guys chat for a moment, and I'm going to be right back.
All right. Tim, what did you find interesting about anything that they had to say, or just kind of it was cool just to have them all in together talking at one time, for sure.
That's
all
great.
right.
I love doing that.
Third caution going to go to lap 39.
We're going to get Hewitt on soon. We just got mixed up, and Cody was sick, and his wife not feeling good, and I wasn't feeling good, but we're going to get Hewitt up real soon.
All right.
We need to get Brad fixed up too, Doty. We need to get him fixed up too.
Yes.
That would be a lot of fun.
Sent him a message, yes. I'm going to get hot and chilled one day, and I called Rico at the last minute. They was packing their bags, and he was on the phone. I talked to Megan, and they was on their way out.
That's cool. That was a lot of fun. I know the fans enjoyed it. We've gotten a ton of positive comments, and having the fan questions was a lot of fun too. So something we can look at doing again in the future at some point, maybe for a special event or whatever. If we can get all these guys together in one spot and come in, then maybe Mike and I can come down and set up a couple laptops and run it from there and do the same kind of thing. But we could actually have them live, maybe a couple of webcams or something. Do something a little bit more than what we did tonight. But I got to admit, that was actually one of the coolest things that I've got to sit down and do with the Dirt Racing Network since we opened this whole thing up. That was.
Got another guy, Joey Saldanha's awesome at the mic.
He'd be awesome to have on too. Any of them would be awesome.
Any of them would be.
My party, he came over and did a table sit down with us, man, and we loved it. He talked about everything, and his kids, his wife there, and they talked for almost an hour and a half, and Joey was awesome. I mean, it was one of the best interviews I've sat down. I've had Dave Blaney there. I've had Brad Doty. I don't know, you guys don't remember Jerry Clum. Jerry Clum was a big guy around Lima that filmed all the races at Eldora, Florida, and everything. And he had just like a racing video thing. He's the one that started the Outlaws with Earl Baldus. So I had Jerry Clum and Brad Doty at my first expo, and they sat and explained and talked to how the World Outlaws formed at my thing, and I should have filmed it because Jerry Clum died shortly after that.
That'd been cool to listen for sure.
Yeah, it would have been a great listen.
I should have filmed all of mine. I had Blaney a couple years ago there at the fairgrounds, and he come for about 2 hours and drove all the way down. He was at Attica, and he drove all the way down to Attica, and we fed him and everything, and he sat there for 2 hours with Larry Bow and had a table talk in front of a bunch of people, and it was awesome. But we had Joey this year at my party. Hoddenshield's been there the last 2 years.
Well, we're watching the hometown hero right there lead this thing at Knoxville.
I told him he better win it for me. I couldn't race.
Got about 18 laps to go here.
Ernie, he told you guys the whole truth. You don't know how he got so good.
How's that?
He raced 10 years in my simulators. Every minute he could, he'd get in them.
Oh, the rat bag stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the rat bag stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
He ran with that, and he loved it, and he loved it, and he said it don't get no better than that. And finally, we got iRacing, and he got into it before we all did. And he was telling us about it, and I hadn't got into it that much. I'd seen it. I just knew if I got into it, what would happen. It's happened.
And look where you're at now.
Yeah. But, the rat bag took me a long ways. I got in with Mopar and them and done different things. And, the rat bag was slowing down. I wanted something different to come alive, but I never dreamed I'd get in with iRacing, and they would contact me, and I'd be able to go out and promote iRacing for them. It's just, wish I had more time, full time to do it. Someday I might.
Pretty good battle shaping up here for the front.
It is. Ernie's slowing down. He's coming off the top.
Ernie, Trevor Royer, Mason Hannigan, these front three.
Old Little Kane there making his way, try to get the front down on the bottom, keeping that left front right up against the berm. Didn't get it done that time.
Ernie's just too good up against cushion, pretty much at every
That looked
track.
great right there.
He's learned how to rim right.
Oh, yeah.
He followed me around Knoxville for 10 years at Ratbag. That's how he got good.
Got his teammate coming through behind him on the top side, Trevor Royer, right there. We don't get to see as much of Trevor as I would like to see. Trevor, one of the original members of the Dirt Slingers Racing League, back season 1, came
2
in 2 or
years
3
ago.
weeks. Yeah, he came in after 2 or 3 weeks of the season. We found him in a hosted room, and Trevor came in and, as always, run towards the front. I used to go over and hang out in a PA posse server and run Williams Grove with him and a bunch of his buddies for a long time. We got him to come over and start racing with us, and he's kind of been a fixture ever since.
You brought up PA Posse. I was kind of wanting to ask the question about like what Larson brought up about the PA Posse stuff, but I didn't know where to.
I'm trying not to ruffle a lot of feathers
I
on that.
didn't want to get into that.
I wanted to ask too, but
And I don't know if you would have got the real answer out of him anyway. You might have. I don't know.
I think we got a lot of very good diplomatic answers, and
yeah.
I think we got a lot of really, really honest and thoughtful answers. And either way, the whole thing was magical. I enjoyed having every one of those guys. That was so much fun.
Absolutely.
We're going to do more of it. I enjoy that.
Do we have any news about what's going to happen with the Thunder Series after we wrap it up here?
I want to
This-
do another
this
one
one?
extra. I need a little summer, cause like I said, you guys are talking about Knoxville. I'll have 10 cars at Knoxville if you guys want to put something together and come out. I will have 10 cars at Knoxville.
Oh, we can do something. We can do something with 10 cars.
I'll make sure to be there.
I'll have 10 cars at Knoxville for sure.
I guess I better hustle up and get my travel trailer deal done, huh?
Because then I'll bring 10 cars. Knoxville will have their car. I'll have their car done. Hall of Fame. Somebody could go to the Hall of Fame and race. Hall of Fame can have their racer. And then Jim can bring his car. That'll give us 13 cars.
There you
And if I have to bring one more, 11 to make an odd number so we can have an even number, I probably could do that. Work it out one way. There are 12 to 14 cars.
We could probably make that happen. Whittle it down just a little bit over the couple 3 days, and
For the Hall of Fame and the racetrack that I'm finishing up right now.
well, there we go.
So that's 2 cars. And then Jim, he'll bring his car down, and he's got the best car ever built. And
How does that work out?
And
No, there we go. That ought to work. We ought to have enough.
I want to have all right racing in my white trailer. I can haul 7 cars in my big white trailer with all my clothing. Then Earl can bring a couple out in another trailer. Whatever I have.
Swing by Eldora and pick a couple up.
Well, that's what I'll do. I'm bringing that big white trailer to Eldora.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the one I have 5 of them set in, but I can haul 7 in it, and then take 2 out of my T-shirt part of it. Then I'll have 5 mounted in the back, and we got a big area that I got now, where I set up in Knoxville. I got all kinds of room right up to the front gate.
That
Great
ought
spot.
to do well then. This thing's getting down to the end here. You're going to be paying Ernie that 5,000 pennies.
I won't have to send a check out.
1.4, 1.5
It doesn't
seconds
matter.
now.
He has to have the check and he has to take a picture with it
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can put it on Dirt Racing Network.
Yeah, I was going to have a special check made up with their name and everything, all real special check. I'm
Okay,
gonna
well,
have
that's got to happen.
So I've had Larry's waiting for me to have the name.
Yep.
And he
That's got to happen because we got to have the picture up because he's going to be around. He's got 2 to go this time.
You don't lose a tire or something.
Mason Hannigan's in second, and Trevor Royer running back there in the 3rd spot.
Jacob Fields in 4th and Weston Newell 5th.
Seen one of
You know,
my
I
cars.
looked at this 20-car starting field, and it is all DSRL members.
Yeah, and there was a good, I don't even know the number of cars that were in this
I think
server.
50 signed in.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
How many viewers do you had tonight? Do you know?
At one time, we were up close to 70.
I test a lot of people. Right at just about an hour before. I don't know, like a couple of the sponsors, like Super Clean and them.
There we go. Ernie Williams bringing it home. Mason Hannigan, Trevor Royer. Ernie Williams going to pick up the 5,000 pennies in the big check. And as soon as we can get that picture taken and get it sent over, we'll get it posted up at DRN. Tonight's been a fantastic night. I can't say enough. I'm so happy that we have gotten to the 5,000 followers mark. It's because of the fans. You guys are awesome. Spreading us around, letting everybody know that we are here, bringing everybody in. I didn't even catch the number on the way in, but it's over 5,100 now. And It's been a magical ride, about 9 months so far, and it's just been absolutely awesome. Um, Tonight to get Craig Kinzer, Brad Sweet, David Gravel in here with Matt Henninger and Tim Nichols. It's been a fantastic night. I've had a blast. I really don't have too many more words than that to say about it. It's just been simply awesome.
You don't get many guys to come in like that and talk, and they can BS with each other, and it's more of a light environment, and so it was pretty cool to get them all in there answering questions and just hanging out.
I just got a thank you from David Gravel, Messenger.
There you go.
That was cool of him.
Yeah. It was really cool of him just to be here.
Well, I called him today, and he said, Tim, can I call you right back? He answered the first ring. He says, I've been a chiropractor. And about 20 minutes later, he called me, and I said, hey, dude, I had a little problem. He says, sure, no problem. What can I do? And he said, I'll be there. And Roger, you called him and set it up.
We're going to get Ernie here in the channel since he won this race, so we'll bring him up in here. Ernie Williams, do you have a copy?
He wins the race now. He can't talk to us.
What's up, guys?
Better.
All right, man. Had a little bit of a battle there with those guys, but then you pulled away, and you saw those 5,000 pennies out there that you wanted to go get.
I did. The only bad thing about it is I know the guy, so I was going to tell him if it was somebody else to make sure they ask for like 5,000 pennies. But I know if I do that, next time I see him, have a bucket wheelbarrow full for me.
I got him ready for you, buddy. They're not even rode up.
I believe it.
I'm gonna put them in a Halloween basket of pumpkin for you. They'll be sitting at the shop desk when you get there.
Just waiting.
Just waiting for you, buddy. I'm gonna start counting right now.
Ernie, you have to get a picture with the big check. It has to go up on the DRN page.
Gotcha, sir. Gotcha. I can make that happen.
Right in front of Hillbilly High Banks banner.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All the fans are going to enjoy seeing that. I know they had a great time listening to all the drivers that we had here tonight, and then getting to watch this race in the background. And we didn't talk a whole lot about the race, but we did talk about you at the end. And fantastic show, and congratulations on the win, buddy. I know you got some people you definitely need to thank.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Mr. Tim Nichols, man, he put the 5,000 pennies up. He's helped out the DSRL leagues. He's helped out me in the Black Diamond Motorsports. I want to give a big shout out to him. He's a super nice guy. Make sure if you guys are around down Eldor or anywhere in Ohio through the summer here, he'll be having the simulators, 4 to 6 to 8 of them, wherever is a good sprint car race. If you're in Knoxville, World Finals, it goes to all the big World of Outlaws shows. Make sure you guys stop in and get on the simulators, man. They're awesome. They're actual sprint car simulators. They're fun to drive, and you can't beat it, man. To getting beside somebody and racing some strangers, it's always fun. And he's always got a few pennies there he gives out too, so it's not worth it's not as like it's all for fun and games. There is some people that take it serious, so but it's fun. Make sure you stop in and see him. Maybe tell him that you know me, and he might give you a free 3 or 4 or 5 laps for you.
You might run off screaming too, because people know you. Hey, I got a question for you, Ernie.
Gotcha.
Got a question for you. If we get it worked out and we can bring some of these guys like we had on tonight, Brad Sweet, Craig Kinzer, Dave Gravel, some of these guys together, maybe Eldora, you'll be down for a pros versus Joe's race?
Absolutely, I would be.
You know we're going to handicap the sim racers, right?
Why is that?
Well, why wouldn't we? We got to give the pros a chance.
No. They run for like dollars. We just run for fun.
You run for pennies.
Sounds like a sim racer right there. Sounds like a sim racer. Hey, Dan Marcy, thanks for the stars, buddy. Appreciate it greatly. Ernie, congratulations again, Bunny. Be sure to get us a picture with that check. Great run tonight. Good job picking up the win.
Thanks, Ernie.
Sir. Yep, thank you, Tim. Thanks for putting this up, Mr. Nichols, and I'll see you soon, sir. Thank you very much for doing all this. I will, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Yep.
All right, Mike, get us close, and then I guess we'll take it on home tonight. It's been an awesome night.
That is the winner. That was Ernie Williams. And that's pretty much going to do it here for us here tonight for the 5,000 followers extravaganza. Special thank you to Tim Nichols with the Dirt Track Simulators, Matt Henninger with Wiki Cushion, David Gravel, Craig Kinzer, and Brad Sweet. Any final thoughts, Roger?
Yeah, absolutely. My thank yous to all of those people as well. It was a fantastic night. I hope the fans had as much fun listening to all these guys talk and sending in the questions and getting them answered as we had doing it. I hope that in the very near future we get to do something like this again. We can bring on some more famous faces from the dirt world. I have had a wonderful time. Thank you to the fans a million times over for getting us to that mark and keeping this thing going, guys. We're just going to keep going forward and up all at the same time. Watch for new schedules for next season because everybody's seasons are winding down over the next couple of weeks. I think everybody's taking a week off. I think the first week of June, we race on Sunday and Monday, and we have nothing the rest of the week. I know I'm going to do some traveling around, go to some local races that week. I'm going to meet some people. But second week of June, we're going to kick back off, so we'll get the new schedules and everything up. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. We are going to be back with our regular shows, Too Fast Tuesdays, DOB, 360 back-to-back shows, Wingless Wednesdays, with the Wicked Energy Gum Northwest Focused Midget Series presented by Cognitive Warriors, followed by the Pawkins Custom Tailgate Games Wingless 360 cars, and then Triple Header Thursday, Dirt Slingers, wrapping up the first season with all the sponsors, Tim's Dirt Track Sims, Howard Johnson of Lima, Ohio, General Tire, Super Clean, everybody. Going to wrap that season up, crown a champion that night, and then that will be followed up by the Dirty Old Bastards Wicked Cushion 410 Outlaw Series and do it for us for the week. We are winding everything down, guys. It has been one heck of a ride. I appreciate it greatly. Until the next time we get to see you, guys, keep it dirty. Good night, everybody.
Addresses.